Most art history would have us believe that paintings of Wassily Kandinsky were the first real foray into full-on abstraction. But in fact, several years before Kandinsky made a totally abstract watercolor, a Swedish painter, Hilma af Klint, was making large abstract paintings. But for af Klint, her paintings were not for exhibition in the usual sense, rather they were diagrams understanding the workings of the inner and outer spiritual worlds brought forth by her interest in the occult. She made over 1,200 paintings in her lifetime, but asked that they not be shown until 20 years after her death, which occurred in 1944. Because of this, she had no real influence on the development of European abstract art, hence the nod goes to Kandinsky, who was active in the German art world and an influential teacher. Beginning in the early 20th century, those Parisian artists who came to be known as Cubists were flattening space and reducing form to its basic shape. This approach would have far-reaching influence in European art. In 1912, in France, Robert and Sonia Delaunay, along with Francesc Kubera, introduced a more lyrical form of Cubism, which left references to visual reality behind. Writer Guillaume Apollinaire would name his bridge between primarily monochromatic Cubism and fully abstract art, Orphism. Concurrently in Russia, Kazimir Malevich and others were leaving Cubism and Futurism behind. Citing the supremacy of pure artistic feeling, these artists eliminated references to nature by using basic geometric shapes. Suprematism rejected materialism and believes that art can exist in and for itself. They believed that the revolution in Russia would usher in a utopian age and their work would represent a new era. In the Netherlands, a group known as De Stijl advocated for the elimination of natural form and color. In 1917, they developed their theories of neoplasticism, or new plastic art, in which the use of straight, horizontal, and vertical lines, squares, and rectangles, primary colors, were the only elements to be used in service of pure abstraction. In fact, in 1924, Piet Mondrian left the group because Theo van Doesburg had the audacity to introduce diagonal lines in his paintings. But the question remains, how do these images communicate meaning? These artists held strict beliefs that the purpose for art was to elevate humanity through the discovery of universal principles. Much of the work from each group looks similar with only minor differences. Despite the rigorous rules and use of geometrical forms, much of their compositional decisions were based on intuition. The precise use of color, placement, and how shapes fit together must feel right. Trying to pin that down is an ambiguous process at best, and many critics would say there is really nothing there. And unsatisfying as it might be, each of us must decide for ourselves whether this use of non-objective means achieve what the artist set out to do.